Good morning, everybody. Uneducated economist here. Let's talk some more about lumber. Now, major problems taking place up in the British Columbia area, and this is something that we have been focusing in on for quite a few months. I've said it before, we got to keep all eyes on the British Columbia area if you want to know what's going to take place here in the lumber industry. Now, something that I found two articles for you. One of them is talking very much about like the last lumber video that I had put out, where we are now finding mills up in the British Columbia area who are starting to curtail development, curtail production, and the announcement of 150 million board feet coming out of Canfor. Now, what I found interesting is this morning when I was doing some research for articles about lumber, I came across an article talking about Canfor and how they are going to be curtailing a pulp production facility. And the reason is because of the transportation issue. They are unable to get it transported away from the mill. There's not enough demand for this product, and there's not enough transportation to get away from the pulp facility, and they're going to be curtailing development. Now, this is something that I found interesting on top of the idea that they are having less allowable, they call it annual allowable cut. And this is going to impact a lot of mills up there. Now, if you go and listen to the interview in one of the links that I share with you guys, you're going to find that the gentleman they are interviewing is talking about how many mills he expects to shut down in the coming months and years due to the low timber availability coming from the British Columbia area. Now, a lot of people have messaged me saying that there is tons of trees and that there is no shortage of timber and stuff like that. I can only go off of what I've read and seen. From what I've gathered, the government up there has pretty much declared or put a limit on the amount of trees that they are going to be cutting up there due to the overharvesting. If I got this right, is due to the overharvesting of the beetle kill off. So when the beetle infestation took place up there over the last decade or so, it killed off a lot of the trees, and they went into harvest mode, and they started cutting more trees than what they typically would allow. Those trees went and got milled up and sent down to the United States, and this was all during like 2018. So when that harvest, like that salvage mode came to an end and the harvesting of those trees really depleted down, mills all over the place up there started shutting down. And I was doing videos all about this. Like if you go and look at my videos from about 2000, late 2018 all the way into 2020, it was continuous videos about mill curtailments and shutdowns and inventory depletions. It was, I mean, it was some pretty sad stories. I was reading articles about a place called 100 Mile up there, and it's like that's all they had was like timbers and trees and mills and loggers, and that's it. And then when the industry shut down, there was no place for these people to go. So it was like very sad story that was taking place up there after this like annual allowable cut started to deplete, started to drop dramatically. So really it left the British Columbia area up there in a very bad position as far as being able to harvest and produce like it had once done. And these mills know it. And this is where the idea that they are going to be moving down, it's not an idea, they are actually doing it, where they're moving down to the southern part of the United States. This is going to take time to establish. And how long it takes for those mills to reestablish themselves down in that southern part of the United States and start distributing from this area as opposed to the Pacific Northwest distribution, I have no idea how long that's going to take. I would imagine that it's probably going to take some time to get, mills updated and, modernized. A lot of these things are getting to the point that they're automated. So, a lot of these mills are going to go through a lot of upgradings and changes over the coming years. And this is probably where you're going to start finding the major distribution of lumber coming from. And don't get me wrong, there's still going to be a lot of Pacific Northwest timber harvested. I mean, I think Oregon is still the number one producer of lumber in the nation, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. However, the transition is beginning and it's starting to move right now, and you can really see it taking place with those, like I said, with those two articles. And if you listen to the gentleman's interview talking about how he expects another 10 to 12 mills shutting down soon, that's like, it's a telling sign of what's to come. So anyway, just wanted to share that stuff with you and kind of give you my thoughts about the lumber industry and what's going on as far as the supply chain part of things are going. When it comes to the new housing market, we're seeing the housing starts beginning to drop. I would not be surprised by this. When you start seeing the completions picking up and start to become more prevalent into an inventory level that is starting to rise, if you have mortgages going up as far as the interest rates on mortgages, if you start seeing these things going up, you're going to start seeing the idea of like frustration coming across the builders. Like, they're going to have a hard time sourcing out material. It's getting expensive. Labor's hard to find and it's getting expensive. The idea that you might build a home and then not be able to sell it for a higher price than what you had typically anticipated, but in fact may even find in some areas it starts to go down, that's going to be a very big headwind for the new construction market, as builders get very nervous about what it is that they are going to be profiting from if they don't even know if they can even find the material or labor to do it. So it's going to be interesting times coming into the future here, especially with all the Federal Reserve and the front loading of the interest rate hikes. I mean, basically they are pushing it out there hardcore that there's going to be interest rate rising soon. And it's not only going to come in like heavy interest rate rises, but lots of them, and it's going to battle the inflation. This is all going to put some very, very big headwinds into the market. People are going to get very nervous about whether or not the Federal Reserve is going to be causing the asset prices to not only stop going up, but maybe even fall. Who knows? Who knows how the market is going to react from this? And then if the Federal Reserve even acts. Like, is it all talk? Because right now, they are talking a lot, and they are getting the markets to move. All right, let's leave it at that. Check out the links down in the description. Got a mail call video for you guys from our friend Chris, who loves sending us the old coins, which I super appreciate. Thank you so much, Chris. Here we go. Oh, right on. Okay, so, hello Simon. Here is some coins. Sorry, brother. And some silver, a 0.0 gram silver, as well as a 2014 Russian or Polish penny, a 1990 Irish penny, and a UK pence coin, a 1944 silver Indian rupee, if it showed up on time next time. If not next time. I'm a terrible reader. I'm sorry, guys. So I love this. Chris sent me one of these the other day, too. Look at that. It's a little tiny piece of silver. Isn't that neat? I love that. I guess that's the silver coin, the Indian one. That's not focusing very well, is it? Yeah, not to the back. Alright. Yeah, I guess I should keep talking through this for the podcast things. A lot of people ask me about the podcast and when I'm going to start a podcast, and I actually have a podcast. It's called You Guys Let Me Know, and you can find links to it at the uneducatedeconomist.com website, and you can find links to everything I do over there. I used to do a lot more writing, and I should probably get into that because I'm really trying to come across time is what I was going to say, but try to find some time to start writing the book, the Uneducated Economist book, because so many people have asked me about it, and I figured it's probably time that I find something to sell. Like, I mean, I can sell the hoodies, I guess, but I don't really have anything to sell, and it would be nice to have something to sell, I guess, and a book would probably be appropriate. So, all right, Uneducated Economist, you guys let me know.